Now that's recording. Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Amanda Ryan, and I am the program director for the Tri-Faith Initiative. And I'm very, very happy to have all of you here for this crucial conversation around race and religion. Just as a reminder that this is really for us to start thinking internally about our own lived experiences, whether that's with as being a person of color, a person of faith, and all of that. So once again, for the people who have joined recently, if you can just have your video on so everybody can see each other and we can kind of build a little bit of an online virtual community in this conversation, that would be very helpful. And I also want to give a very big shout out to Inclusive Communities being a partner with this, because we had great outreach on it, and there are a lot of new folks here that I've never met before. And so I'm really excited for that. And if you are interested in being more involved with Tri-Faith or Inclusive Communities, we are here to help. So with that, I'm gonna start my presentation, and I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. We'll go here. Okay, that's not where we want to start. Okay, so Crucial Conversations is a program that is actually borrowed from Project Interfaith. That was an interfaith organization in Omaha a few years ago. And like I said, this is really for us to start thinking internally and about the intersection of different social identities. And I have, developed it in a way to fit within Tri-Faith's mission and scope. And we do a lot of different topics around this. So we've done one on mental health and religion that was really popular. So we'll probably redo that one again. So if you like what you're doing today, I really encourage you to attend more in the future. And then I want to go through some ground rules that I want us all to be aware of while we're talking. And of course, that means, respectfully taking turns and not interrupting each other, refrain from dominating conversations, and being mindful of that there are other people that have other lived experiences to share. We will be speaking I know I just spoke on behalf of all of us, but we will be speaking for ourselves and not a generalized group. And to please use like I pronouns as opposed to we and they in terms of the kind of other folks within the conversation. No attacking or blaming of other participants, and active listening is great, and I highly encourage it in this type of conversation. And then, because this is religious in nature, no proselytizing of other participants in any way. So this is open to people of diverse faiths and people who don't subscribe to any particular religion, but it's a conversation that everybody thinks is important so far. So I want to give us a little bit of a breakdown on race and religion information and data that we currently have available to us. There is a little bit of a limitation on the data that we have, but we have some. So I think it will kind of enlighten us a little bit on this conversation. This particular graph is about racial and ethnic composition by religious groups, and it's from the Pew Forum. And it really shows, it's kind of hard to read on here, but white folks are this kind of teal color, and then black folks are this lighter color, Asian, and it moves on. So you can kind of see how with different religious groups, there is definitely some racial segregation within it. Some of that has to do with, I'll give Hinduism as an example, that is a largely ethnic group as well, being from India. So of course, they're gonna have like skew towards being heavily Asian. Whereas within Christianity, we would say that that is a more racially and ethnically diverse set of beliefs and communities. However, we can see within the Catholic population, you know, it is predominant, a majority of folks are white. Within mainline Protestant, the same thing. But then you'll look at the historically Black Protestant churches, and you'll notice that the Black folks throughout history have had to create their own spaces within religious communities. Same with the Jewish population, it's heavily white, with a little bit of variance of other people of color. So, and if anybody has any questions, please feel free to chime in or ask. So, are we all good right now? So, this data is actually from PRRI, which is a nonpartisan research group that does work around religion and civic life, whether it's politics, race and ethnicity, gender, things like that. And so they provide a lot of research, and they recently did a study specific to Omaha or to Nebraska. And you'll see that, let me see, hold on, I have to keep on moving my presentation screen. That a majority of folks in Nebraska are white. And then we have a little bit of diversity with Latinos, Hispanics at 8%, Black at 4%, and other races at 5%. So I want us to keep in mind that this is, that this is for the whole state and not just Omaha. And then we'll go to the next one. And then this is the breakdown by religion. So the PRI study doesn't actually combine the two to show it in one graph like the Pew research does. However, we can kind of see and make comparisons between the two, and kind of have that picture. Was somebody gonna say anything? Thought I heard a little.
I think it was a bless you needed.
Oh.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you hear me sneeze?
Yeah, it's okay. You're good. Bless you. And then to really hone in on Nebraska, like I wanted to also use the PRI study to show where Nebraskans interact with people who are different from them. So, so folks in Nebraska say that at least once a week, 67% of them interact with somebody who is of a different race or ethnicity than them. And then 66% say that they interact with somebody of a different religious belief at least once a week. And so if we go back to this data, you can see that there isn't a lot of diversity. Like we're working within a context of Christianity. So while their beliefs may be different because they're Catholic or they're mainline Protestant, it's really not as diverse as if they were interacting with somebody who's Jewish or somebody who's Muslim on at least a weekly basis. And then we can also see that a majority of folks in Nebraska are white. And because of rural Nebraska, that number increases and the likelihood of interacting with people of a different race or ethnicity goes down. So that kind of makes me question, because these are self-reported figures, that people a little bit overestimate how often they interact with somebody different from themselves. And then this is a larger graph, and this is to get us to kind of think of the systematic reasons that disparity might be taking place. So where are people interacting with the most diverse audience and community? Probably no surprise, it's the workplace is the biggest one. And so because we have certain things in place and certain laws that we can't discriminate against protected classes, that makes it so the workplace can be a more diverse place if implemented properly. Folks report that their friend circles are diverse on the pretty far on all of race and ethnicity, religion, political party, and sexual orientation. And then if we look at the very bottom, we can see the least diverse places are at religious services and at schools where where people attend. So I just kind of want us to get those brain juices flowing about what does that mean and what does that mean for the intersection of race and identity.
Is this for all of Nebraska or just, I guess?
This one is also specific to all of Nebraska.
Okay.
Let me see. And then what role does religion play in your life? So we are going to kind of move into the part where we start interacting as individuals and start reflecting upon the things that we believe and the things that we've experienced. So I'm going to run through these questions real quick so that we kind of know what we're looking at and the questions that you all will answer. And then we'll turn it to facilitators and into small groups, and we'll have a more intimate conversation with each other. So first, we'll talk about our religious and spiritual backgrounds and those changes that we have gone through or haven't gone through in the development of our lives. And just some general thoughts about, is there a difference between religion and spirituality, and do you engage with people of different religious beliefs? And then we'll get into how your race and how your ethnicity have played a role in your life. So does it impact your daily living or does it not? And why do you think so? Did you grow up in a town that was racially or ethnically diverse? Because we can see from the data that we don't have a lot of diversity in the state of Nebraska. And I myself grew up in Minden, Nebraska, with a town, it's 3,000 people. And I was at the time when I was growing up, one of the only Latinos there. And so that has definitely colored the lens in which I see the world. And then what do these two intersections mean for us? And how have we lived our lives? And are those identities ever in conflict with each other? I included this picture because it's one of my favorite pictures. That this is from a Jews of Color leadership cohort that I was a part of. And just to show, like, we do have great diversity within our religions, including Judaism. So there was that graph earlier that showed that Jews are largely white, but there is a contingency of people of color within the Jewish community. And we're really working to elevate that and make sure that people see the scope of the diversity within religions. So that is the breakdown. And then Eric, I believe from Tri-Faith staff, are you able to break us up into rooms?
Hey, Amanda, could you check your messages, please?
Yeah, it's a little hard to check when you're facilitating.
Actually, go ahead and disregard those messages.
Okay.
Give me 1 minute and I'll assign everybody to the breakout rooms.
Yes. So while we're doing that, does anybody have any questions? Your facilitators will have these questions in front of them.
So there's more than just the 5 people that are showing on my screen in this chat?
Correct. Yep. And there are, let's see, 39 people here with us right now.
Okay, how come only I see like 5?
If you click on gallery view at the top right corner of your screen, it says speaker view or gallery view. That should show you more folks.
Oh, okay. There
Yep.
they are.
Yep.
Amanda,
Yes.
can you remind us, this is Mary Fraser Mines, can you remind us how many people did the Nebraska pluralism study?
Oof. I don't have it in front of me, but I will make a note of that to put it in the follow-up email.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then,
Could you remind us how long will we be in the breakout rooms? And we're supposed to do all the questions at once, or will we come back in between?
so you can all kind of pick what questions feel right for you in your group. These conversations have largely been self-guided by the groups, because everybody kind of starts getting into it, and they're hearing what other people are saying, and they're feeding off of each other. So these are, I would say, a little bit more prompts than questions. And so just really for a note for the facilitators, kind of let that conversation go. If it veers too far away, then let's kind of bring it back in. But other than that, it's really for us to have a nice conversation. What was your other question? There was another question.
How long?
Oh, how long? So each set, I've made it so that you can talk about religion and its separateness for 20 minutes, then race and ethnicity for 20 minutes, and then the intersection for 20 minutes. So that's the time frame.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, I think we're going to be joining breakout rooms. See you soon.
Hello, hello. Hello, Janie, is it?
Hello?
Hi there, Yoon, Janie. We have broken out into our breakouts. You should see a little box inviting you to join a breakout. Go ahead and click accept or yes, and that'll take you to the breakout.
I'm not seeing a box.
Okay, let's see here. Maybe I can reassign it here.
I was on before, but then my cell phone died. So
Oh, okay. Let's see here. How about now? Do you see any box that has breakout room?
I don't.
Uh,
Oh, I see it now. Yep.
There it is. Okay.
Okay, here we go. Thanks.
Mrs. Dan, can you hear me? Kathy, I just assigned you to breakout room 1. You should see an invitation to allow you to jump on into that breakout room. Hello, Janie? Janie, can you hear me? Janie, if you can hear me, you should be looking for a breakout room button. It'll once you accept it, it'll take you to the breakout room with the group waiting for you.
Welcome back. Now, the work towards social justice and equality bridges now is bringing stories of people, plans, and projects aimed at showing you how Omaha is moving forward. I introduce you to Community Connect, the collaboration.
Hi, Jeanette, is it? Hi. We are currently in breakouts. You should see an invitation there in your taskbar, in the Zoom taskbar inviting you. Go ahead and accept that.
Okay, we're coming back together. How are your conversations? Can you just give me a bob of the head so far? Cool. Thank you. Let's see. Do we got everybody back now? It looks like it. Okay, so this is the part where I just kind of want us to reflect on what you all just talked about, and if there's anything that in particular that you want to share, please feel free to do that. But I kind of hope that you got to the last set of questions around race and religion, and that with that data that I showed earlier, it shows that, you know, our churches are more segregated than our workplaces. And I kind of want us all to continue to grapple with, why is that? Right? Why was there the need to create historically Black churches? And one of the things that I want to point out is that a lot of this does have to do with white supremacy and with how Christianity is tied with that, and how Christianity was used for justification for slavery. And so the historically Black church had to be developed in a way to create that sanctuary just for Black folks. And I think that's really important for us to acknowledge. And I just really invite all of you to kind of think about that a little bit more in the coming days. So does anybody have anything that they would like to add, what you discussed, any lingering thoughts that you have? And feel free just to unmute and talk.
I'm going to jump in super quick. Something I really thought that was powerful that came out of our group was just recognizing the difference in actually being exposed to diversity versus having core values that honor diversity. And the hope is that you would have both, but the importance of those values being relayed, even if that's not your day-to-day life. So I just wanted to lift that up because I thought that was really meaningful.
Yes, thank you. Anybody else?
Well, I kind of would like to have seen more innovation of thought. It seems like you go to these conversations and you get the same conversation over and over again. And I grew up in the 60s, and it's like, it seems to me we should be farther along on this subject after all these years than we are right now. And it's like, I keep hearing the same old conversations, the same old arguments, and nothing innovative to change the situation. And it's like, you're still looking to the same things. And it's like, I just thought I was hoping to bring some more innovation with my own input to this, to how you look at things and how you view things. But I don't know. What were you hoping to this, Amanda, this Tri-Faith Initiative? What were they hoping to come out of this event right now? What were you looking?
So I agree with you that we should be at a completely different spot than where we're at right now in the United States specifically. However, what I have to say is that because we're not further along, we can't have that conversation about how we should all, because we are, if you believe this, all children of God, and that God made us all in his image, or their image. Sorry, I don't want to use gendered language with God, but because we haven't made those advances in racial equity, we can't have that conversation yet. So
may I interrupt you for a minute? But this whole event is about religion and racism specifically. And to me, it sounds like you're wanting to bring in the non-religious into the event, when the event is focusing on religion and racism. And so I was thinking that you want to find solutions within religious environment only from this event.
So the thing, I think the important thing for us all to remember is that whether you're religious or not, religion impacts your daily life. So that's kind of like that conversation that we had around race and ethnicity. And I'm very happy to carry on this particular conversation with you offline, Carol. So you have my email address, so we can set up a phone call to discuss this a little bit more in length. But this is also to get us just really thinking about that personal level. And then as Tri-Faith Initiative, and I'm sure Inclusive Communities is working on these type of things too, that we're going to elevate the conversation to a deeper level so we can get to that place of looking at more innovative ways and more in ways that don't have to be structured by this divide in race and ethnicity, because we as a community and as a nation are on the same page that race and ethnicity impacts all of us on a daily life, whether we recognize it or not. So is there anybody else that has any questions that they would like to ask?
Holly shared a reading with us, and I know I'm calling you out, Holly, but I would wonder if you would share the reading with the whole group, because it was really a beautiful thought. If you can say no.
Yeah, I'd be happy to share that. This is by Tawana Petty, and she says, "Is it truly a privilege to be connected to a legacy of lynching, displacement, redlining, etc.? We need new language. We need to pull away from the cycle of allyship and begin struggling toward co-liberation. We need whites to firmly believe that their liberation, their humanity, is also dependent upon the destruction of racism and the dismantling of white supremacy." And so that's in response to the wording of a lighter skin or a white body as living in a place of privilege, and how that word is being associated with that. And so that word of co-liberation.
Mm-hmm.
We were able to kind of weave that into our religious journeys, and whether or not we were feeling called through our religion or spirituality into that work. And so, you know, I think that wraps around all of what we were hoping to bring together in this conversation, not necessarily where we are today as a country or as individuals, but where we hope to be as religious communities, as the Tri-Faith Initiative, as Omaha, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Holly, could you please send that to me so that I can include that in our follow-up email? I'm going to go ahead and write here my email address if any of you want to reach out to me. We also have a survey that I would really like you all to take and give us any feedback, because like I said, this is kind of like the beginning of a conversation that we're going to move up. So I would really appreciate that feedback. And I just want to ask the Inclusive Communities reps here if they want to add anything in about inclusive communities. Colin, I'm looking at you.
All right. I will accept the call. Well, I just want to say thank you, Tri-Faith Initiative, for asking us to come along and kind of offer up our facilitation skills. But it really, I respect the most about the people that were engaging this conversation. It's always really those people that lead the conversation. I really just view it as me getting the time to just kind of watch these stories and these people collide. And yeah, I really just want to applaud you all in the steps that you're taking, because I think, you know, we all have networks and we all have power to make changes. And so you all taking the time to evaluate what efforts you can assert to make the changes that need to be made in Omaha and really in the greater context of the United States, I think it's important work to be doing. And yeah, we do similar community dialogue. So if you ever find yourself looking to have more conversations, or maybe even, you know, trying to dive into some deeper action items, we'll be releasing our Omaha Table Talk series schedule here very soon. and it'll be kind of looking similar to these sessions, with kind of a panel at the beginning, with some experts looking at kind of what you can do now and what a social justice issue looks like in Omaha and in greater context of where we are right now, and then having some group dialogue about how you can kind of plug into that movement. So with that, I'd just like to say thank you again, and thank you everyone for being here.
Yeah, and special thank you to all the facilitators from Inclusive Communities and my Tri-Faith colleagues. Like I said, just feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or would like to continue this conversation. But I think I'm going to give you all 4 more minutes back to your daily lives that are not attached to a computer screen. And so thank you all, and I hope to see you a lot sooner than later. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Amanda.
Thanks.
Thank you.